At the Dubai Motor Show, and we're meeting here with David Brown. He'll tell us more about his gorgeous car that I'm sitting next to that has another seat at the back, especially for Goodwood. What inspired you to start with the Aston Martin concept?
It's nothing to do with Aston Martin. It's something to do with the 60s.
Okay.
And so the whole style of the car embodies all of the shapes that come from that era. And in that time, Aston Martins, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Maseratis, all the supercars were styled by the same Italian styling houses. So they had a lot of things in common with each other. And we've looked at what those things were, why they are so still iconic today. And basically it's all about simple curves and non-straight lines. Flowing curves, long curves. And you can see that as you're looking at the car now. What I wanted to do was to combine the grace and simplicity of that period with a contemporary powertrain. So we've used a modern Jaguar engine and components, the chassis components from the same car, and combine them together to give a car that has the grace of the 60s but the performance of the 2015s.
Fantastic. And I fell in love with the car the first time I saw it in Goodwood, and now you describing that it's only curves. Actually, that's why I fell in love with it, because I don't like edges very much, and the curvy shape that it has is just amazing. It's a beautiful car.
Well, when we went into the styling studio to build a full-size clay model of the car, we went in there with no pictures of cars from that period. We went in there with pictures of Sophia Loren, Riva speedboats, all of the elegant things that existed and came from that period. So we didn't want to be tied into anything in our mind about specific cars, but just understand why the 60s has still got a glamour and a history to it that perhaps won't die. Then we wanted to make sure that if you look at our head and tail lights, they're LED units. And if they'd had the technology available in the 60s, they would have used those components. So that's what we did. That was our mantra for the style and design of the whole car, to use parts that are available today, but that weren't necessarily them. The other thing, there are modern manufacturing techniques that we've embodied in the car, but principally the bulk of the work is still done in an old-fashioned it's manual work, and beating the panels from a flat sheet of aluminium. It's all done by hand. It is very much a handmade car, but using modern, mainly measuring methods. You can measure digitally now, and you can measure every point relative to another point, so you can get a quality that you couldn't get in the 60s. And our entire car embodies that principle.
It is a perfect icon. That's how I can describe it. The only way to describe it is an icon, and because there aren't many of them on the road, really. So if somebody chooses to drive this car, they will stand out of the crowd immediately.
Well, I didn't want the car to be a pastiche of different styles either, so it had to all flow together and flow properly. You can't just add bits from different, because you like a specific bit. It all has to work as a whole. And yeah, it's going to be a very exclusive car in that we'll only ever build 100 of them. And in that way, you're unlikely to see one parked on your neighbour's drive. We've got a lot of combination of colours that we worked on, and different metal finishes as well. So this is a very deep, bright chrome, which goes extremely well with the blue. Sometimes you look in chrome and you can see blue. And so I think the two things go together very, very well indeed. The car has a Jaguar V8 supercharged engine. It's 510 horsepower, but it has a lot of low-down torque, which means it's got some real easy acceleration at low speeds. It's a beautifully quiet car. We've kept the exhaust system so that when you first start it, it will scare small children and animals, but after that it goes into whisper mode, and so no, it's a genuine GT. We've got an enormous amount of luggage space in it, so you can go away for a long weekend with your wife or girlfriend, and she can take all her shoes. You go away in a car like this for a long weekend, and a long weekend you take everything with you, and it's important. So the car is practical, and it is the rear bench seat that you've just seen. We call it a dicky seat in the UK. It's a great thing if you're having a picnic or if you're going to an outdoor event and you park your car close. It's lovely.
Thank you so much. Thank you for. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you very much indeed.